Alright, in this section we're going to continue covering single man counters and some of the special rules involved with them. One of the first type that we're going to cover is going to be medics or corpsmen. I've got an example laid out here for you, and just keep in mind when I say medic or corpsman, the term is interchangeable. The rules are going to be the same for either one. Now, you'll notice on this German medic that he does not have a firepower or range. That's because medics, they're never going to be carrying a weapon. They're never going to have a support weapon. They're never going to be involved in any type of combat. They're also not allowed to make a spotting attempt. So this medic couldn't attempt to spot these American troops in the building. He is simply there to take and support his troops. What they can do is, just like heroes and leaders, they can have the units in the hexes with them make rally attempts, but they can also take and heal wounded troops. So we have a wounded hero in the hex with him, and for the medic to take and heal his wounds, the medic's simply going to do just like a rally attempt. He's going to make a morale check, and if he's in a positive terrain modifier, he gets to subtract 2 from that. If he passes, the hero will be flipped over to his normal side. He'll be healed from his wound, but if he fails, there's no penalty for that. Now, the next type we're going to cover are snipers. Snipers have a few special rules involved with them. One of them is the fact that snipers, for the most part, are not going to start the scenario on the map. They're going to be placed after the game's already begun. There are a few specific scenarios where you're going to have a sniper start in a specific hex. Those will be laid out for you in the scenario. For most of them, though, you're going to place them in any terrain that has a positive terrain modifier that does not also have an enemy. So that would include bunkers or smoke even that causes a blank hex to have a positive terrain modifier, but smoke wouldn't be a good idea. So for example, let's say this match has started and we lay down our German sniper here in these light woods with a positive terrain modifier. Now, you'll notice that the German counter does not have a movement factor. That's because snipers are going to stay in whatever hex they're in when they're placed down, so make sure you pick a good one. Now also, when they're firing, instead of rolling 1d6 and adding their firepower, they're going to roll 2d6 and add that to their inherent firepower when making an attack. Now, if they attack a hex that has multiple units in it, let's say he fired on these American units here, you're randomly going to decide which unit is being attacked. So if our sniper here attacked the American units, he would roll 2d6. Since his firepower is a 0, he wouldn't add anything to it, but he would add these together and then randomly decide which one of these were hit. And you could just do that by rolling a d6, 1 to 3 for the leader, 4 to 6 for the squad, to determine which one of them would be hit and making the damage check. They also get the ability to take and double the target modifier of whatever terrain they're in. So like these woods provide normally a +1 bonus, he would actually get a +2 bonus. Now that applies until he has other units stacked in the hex with him. If this other German squad stacked with him, then he would no longer be getting that bonus while they were there. And they also don't get the bonus against mortars, artillery, or enemy sniper fire. And remember, the max target modifier is 4 normally, which means snipers can have it go up to 8. The last single man counter we're going to cover in this one is going to be scouts. I've got a Belgian scout laid out here, and scouts have a few cool special rules involved with them. One of them, they get to subtract 2 when making a spotting attempt normally. So if our Belgian scout here wanted to attempt to spot these units in the light woods, normally that's degrading terrain, which would be a 3 or under, but he gets to subtract 2 from his roll, so effectively he could roll a 5 or under and still pass the spotting attempt. Now they also get to stealth move, assault move, and assault fire, and they get to do that without penalty. Make sure you watch the video on the different types of movements to understand the penalties involved, and keep in mind that they're going to do that stealth without that normally associated penalty that comes with it. Now, a scout could use a support weapon. However, if we equipped the scout with a support weapon, he would lose his scout status. So all the special abilities that he has, stealth movement and all the like, he would lose while he was carrying that support weapon. They're also going to fight in melee as a 0 firepower unit. Make sure to watch the video on melee to understand how you're going to perform that. Now, scouts do get to help other single man and multi-man counters that are moving through different types of terrain with them. Terrain like woods or jungle, they get to reduce, if they're stacked with the scout, the terrain cost down to 1 movement point. So for example, if other Belgian troops were moving with a scout through the different types of woods here on the map, it would only cost them 1 movement point to move through it instead of the 2 that they normally cost. Scouts are also, just like leaders, able to call in onboard or offboard artillery fire missions.